Hello, delegates. Welcome. This is the closing ceremony of TogetherMUN 3.0. I'm so happy that you're in here, and yeah, um, and now we have two parts of our stream and of our of our presentation. First of all, we'll have a nice presentation and a mini seminar from our partner organization, MUN Impact, about the fourth SDG, which is quality education. Afterwards, we'll tell you your words and we'll free you to go. Thank you very much. And Zoe, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. We're so excited to be here to present to you all. Today, we're going to be talking about SDG 4, which is quality education, and how that connects to Model UN, and also how you can take action in your own lives in support of the Sustainable Development Goal. And I'm joined by three amazing members of our MUN Impact team that are going to help present today. So I'm Zoe. I'm Global Secretary General for the MUN Impact Global Leadership Team, and I'm from South Florida in the United States.
I'm Belle. I'm the Global Secretary Co-General for the Online Model United Nations program, and I'm from Malaysia.
My name is Mohammed Aziz. I'm the Deputy Head of West Asia, as well as I serve at other programs as well, like MUN at Home and Online Model United Nations, and I'm coming from the UAE.
Hello, my name is Chandrisnatha Mohanty and I am from Vishakhapatnam, India. I am a part of the MUN Impact as well as its other programs such as the 100K Deeds and MUN at Home and Model UN, Online Model UN. So talking about MUN Impact, we and MUN Impact are a SDG-focused global youth organization that believe in the power of MUNs, that is Model United Nations, as a uniting factor in the community. We have several SDG related MUN programs such as MUN at Home in multiple languages such as Spanish, French, Arabic, and we are planning to launch one in Russian as well. So you're welcome to join us. We have the Online Model United Nations, which are weekly debates that we conduct every month. Uni Omen is the same thing as Online Model United Nations, and it is specially designed for university students. We have Junior Omen, which is again another version of Online Model United Nations, specially designed for middle school students. We have a podcast named Communique, where we have our anchor Eric Novak talking about the Thought Leaders Summit. Then we have the 100K Deeds Challenge, which is the newest program from MUN Impact, which is also an SDG focused program. And we have our global leadership team for outreach.
So I'm going to read out to you the focus of today's meeting, the SDG 4. And the SDG 4 in its terms is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all.
So, education for all has been a very popular slogan and has been given attention through different international development courses ever since 1990. It was considered critical at the inception of the Sustainable Development Goals, called the SDGs or the Global Goals, and tagged as SDG 4. Education is seen as a force for sustainable development, nation building, and peace. Children and young people who gain certain skills such as reading, writing, or counting are more likely to have a better future than their peers who lack these skills. There are several organizations that are involved in ensuring quality education, and these include the UNESCO, UNICEF, Childhood Education International, and many such. Now, SDG 4 has 10 targets and has targets and indicators under it, and they are, um, as you can see, free primary and secondary education, equal access to quality pre-primary education, equal access to affordable technical, vocational, and higher education, increase in the number of people with relevant skills for financial success, eliminate all discrimination in education, universal literacy and numeracy, education for sustainable development and global citizenship, build and upgrade inclusive and safe schools, expand higher education scholarships for developing countries, increase and supply of qualified teachers in developing countries. Now, how is the SDG 4 interlinked with other SDGs? Now, achieving SDG 4 will help to achieve several other SDGs, such as SDG 1, which is eradicate poverty, or achieve gender equality, which is SDG 5, ensuring good health and well being, SDG 3, reducing inequalities among countries, which is SDG 10, promote sustained, inclusive, and economic growth, and decent work for all, which is SDG 8. Build resilient infrastructure and foster innovation, which is SDG 9. And promote peaceful and inclusive societies, which is our SDG 16.
And now I'll touch base a little bit more in depth in terms of just statistics of how improving the quality of education and improving access to education can actually help on so many other aspects of our sustainable development goals. So first of all, it's on equality. A stats tells us that if all girls had secondary education attainment in sub-Saharan Africa and Southwest Asia, child marriage will fall by 64%, while early births would fall by 59%. And on the side of health and nutrition, 1.7 million more children can reach full growth potential if all women complete primary education, just primary education, rising to 12.2 million more if secondary schooling is complete. And one of the most, I guess, famous SDGs is SDG 1 on poverty, and that is poverty reduction. 171 million fewer people will be living in poverty if all students in low-income countries learn basic reading skills. That's all we're asking for. And with regards to health, we also have improved nutrition and a potential of 4 million child deaths prevented due to the increase of women's education. And then as well as in regards to the planet, we learned that educated citizens are more inclined to build and maintain clean energy structures and have increased environmental concerns. So how has the pandemic affected SDG 4? Well, we know that from the UN policy brief, Education During COVID-19 and Beyond, it says that the COVID-19 pandemic has created the largest disruption of education systems in history, affecting nearly 1.6 billion learners in more than 190 countries and all continents. And we will be elaborating on this later in the presentation.
Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. It's not letting me move my screen. Yeah, my screen appears to be frozen. I'm just gonna reshare it. Apologies. There we go. Sorry.
So the impact of COVID-19 on SDG 4. As mentioned, it has caused the largest disruption of education in history. And it peaked in April of 2020 when 90% of learners were outside of educational institutions. And it took some time for people to be able to get acclimated online. And those were only in several countries. Students were also didn't have access to internet connection, which actually stopped them from continuing their education at home. Another 100 million people were affected by localized school closures. We also have how SDG4 directly impacted, how other SDGs were also impacted, which all led to the overall impact on SDG4. Yeah.
And one of the challenges that is associated with this SDG4 is the challenge of funding it, right? If we look at this graph, in 2015, the total financing need, as projected here, of course, it probably doesn't include everything, but as projected, it is 3 million, $3,400,000, or no, 3 billion, that is. And we noticed that the education budget is already lower than the total financing need. And there's a financing gap of 11%. That already is very, very alarming. And now in 2020, in the pre-COVID projections, right, that is before the WHO declares COVID-19 a pandemic, yes, the education budget has increased, but the financing need has increased much faster, and that is a true problem. And now our financing gap is 29%, and that is not only because governments are not um, putting in are allocating enough financial resources, but also because individuals aren't allocating those financial resources. And you could really just go out there and donate to UNICEF, donate to educational organizations, really including like MUN Impact, that kind of help shrink this financing gap. And some of the other challenges during COVID-19, we noticed that there have been tons of national localized closures due to COVID-19. And one of the big things we notice is that high income countries are affected by COVID-19 to a very large degree, but high income countries can actually recover from the pandemic much faster than low income countries, which are affected but not affected as much. Yet their school closures and educational systems are so behind that it's really difficult for them to recover and come back to their normal societies. So that is a problem that we really have to address with this SDG4. And some of the challenges that might occur after COVID-19 in regards to SDG4, these are three possible projections that could happen. If we look at the lower average score, right? People are simply not doing as well in school. They have not had access to these educational resources that they need to have access to. So one possibility that the World Bank is making is, okay, if people aren't having access to those educational materials, they're probably going to score less. And then the other projection that we see is a higher standard deviation. In other words, the data is so much more spread out. The average person is still doing just as well, but there are some wealthy people who are doing much better than before, and people who are doing much worse, right? People who have benefited from the pandemic with new virtual resources, and people who are completely lacking behind. So that's what we have with a higher standard deviation. And the other is a sharp increase in dropouts, right? People are doing really, really terrible, and the median is much behind the basic proficiency level. So these are three very big concerns that are occurring due to COVID-19 that we might see after the pandemic goes. In regards to these two data graphs that we see here, we noticed that the country choice of distance learning during school was affected by the education level and the region. In other words, there are countries where you have higher education levels, where people are more educated and they're able to allocate more resources to push education in these countries. And then there are other countries where people are just not as educated and they don't put education in the front of COVID-19 and other crises. That's kind of what this graph is illustrating. And of course, we can't see it as well. In the right, it's a very, very obvious, to be honest, a very, very obvious connection is that school closure has a large impact on employment, right? If people aren't being educated, you aren't able to fulfill the working force demand. People simply aren't there to fulfill those requirements to run society.
And to kind of touch base as well, before COVID-19, we learned that progress towards inclusive and equitable quality education was too slow, which meant that by 2030, there would still be over 200 million children that will be out of school. And COVID-19 implications, as mentioned before, school closures have kept 90% of all students outside of school, and only 65% of primary schools have basic hand washing facilities critical for COVID-19 prevention. Remote learning remains out of reach for at least 500 million students, and inequalities in education are hugely exacerbated by COVID-19. And in low-income countries, children's school completion rates are falling. So this is just like another like statistics for you guys, just so you can see how COVID-19 has seriously impacted SDG 4.
However, we must not fail to look at the bright side of COVID-19. This has stimulated innovation within the educational sector. We've witnessed many innovative approaches in support of education and training continuity, from radio and television to take-home packages. Distance learning solutions were developed thanks to the world support, including the Global Education Coalition convened by the UNESCO. Changes have also highlighted that the promising future of learning and the accelerated changes in modes of delivering quality education cannot be separated from the imperative of leaving no one behind by a lack of resources environment to access learning. It is also true for the teaching profession and their need for better training and new methods of education delivery as well as support.
Here's some statistics and kind of an infographic on what is happening. So just to kind of summarize all the big components of data in this infographic, research initiatives are growing around the world, right? It's not a cause of extreme concern. It is a cause of concern, but we are making progress. We're making progress at MUN Impact. We're making progress in different organizations around the world, right? We are doing research. We are collecting data, and we're analyzing those data to develop policies. And that's kind of what we want to push within the youth and within policymakers and governments, individuals, and people who really hold those levels of societal influence around the world. If you would like to know more, of course, you can look at our story maps on our MUN Impact website, which give more insight into these SDGs. MUN and all the SDGs, not just SDG4, it's all really interlinked, and we show that a lot in MUN Impact. So MUN, you're debating on topics, but as you debate, you're educating yourself on the topics themselves. You're kind of building your exposure to the statistics, to the global phenomena themselves. You can use the SDGs to really help your research and kind of catalyze how you obtain data and how you use those data to develop solutions and resolutions to some of the world's most pressing challenges. And really to advance the SDGs, we should really work on spreading MUN because MUN is a catalyst for our understanding. A big part of MUN is doing research and developing awareness. So MUN will help us understand low income and underdeserved and marginalized communities around the world and how we can help support them.
So it's important to ask, what can you yourself do to advance SDG 4 in your own life, right? This is not just a job for the United Nations and for, professionals and for NGOs. This is something that you yourself have the power to really make an impact on. And at MUN Impact, that's what we try to encourage. So I'm quickly to go through some steps about how you can take action for SDG 4, quality education, in your own daily life and in your own community. So before starting an SDG 4 project, there are some questions that you should ask yourself to kind of help get organized. The first question is, what SDG 4 targets will your project address? And you saw in the previous slide, we went through all of the targets for SDG 4. Some of them focused on global education. Some of them focused on literacy, some of them focused on school. So there are different areas that you can focus on. And the more specific you get, the more impactful your project can be. The second question is, what are your target groups? Are you trying to advance education for women, for children, maybe for people from a specific country or a specific economic status? So these are all, again, important things that you should think about before you begin planning. The third one is, where will your project be implemented? Is it going to be locally? Will it be in your school? Will it be in your community at large? Or will it be globally? These are all things you should take into consideration. The fourth question is, what is the end goal of the project? It's always great to have a goal when you're trying to do an SDG or an action project, because you have something to work towards. So maybe your goal is to, I don't know, improve education access for 100 women, right, in your local area. So that's a goal that you can then work towards. You should think of a timeline, right? Is this going to last 2 years, 1 year? Is it a program that's going to be a few weeks, or maybe it's going to last, for many, many, many years? But you should have some sort of idea of how long the program will be in place for. And then lastly, who can help you implement it, right? SDG projects can be done in your daily life by yourself, but you definitely need help if you want to make it as impactful as possible. So maybe there are friends or teachers in your school that would be interested in helping you out, or maybe there's a local organization that you can partner with that can help you. And MUN Impact is one of those organizations that's happy to partner with different SDG initiatives or projects. So if you do ever decide to create one, we're here to help you plan that and to partner with you throughout the process. So here's a step-by-step action plan that you can go through when you want to create your SDG project. So the first step, as I said, is look at a list of SDGs, find one that interests you. So if you don't want to do SDG 4, there are tons of other SDGs. And as we mentioned before, all of the goals are interlinked. So you can even do one or more SDGs. Then research the targets. So again, we showed the SDG 4 targets before. So pick one target and decide to work towards that. You can also turn the target into a how question to try to answer it. So if the target is, improving literacy rates, for women, I forgot if this is actually a target, but if it is, you can then say, how do I improve literacy rates? 4, research how others are working towards that target for inspiration. It's really hard to kind of come up with an idea on the spot, a groundbreaking novel idea. But there are tons of other people and organizations, as we pointed out earlier in the presentation, that are already working towards these goals. So if you just do a little research and see what's currently happening around the world in terms of SDG action, you can really get inspired and tweak projects that are already in place and fix things that didn't work in the past. And that's similar to coming up with solutions for a Model UN resolution. 5, start with one simple action you can take to achieve that goal. So thinking big is great, but teaching 1,000 women in a low-income country how to read may not be a feasible thing for you to start out with. So maybe just go to a local organization or a local school and start with a few people, and then let it see where it goes from there. Spread the word. So use social media, outreach, flyers, message your friends to get them involved. You want as many people as possible to join in your project. Again, set a timed goal for completing tasks. That'll keep you on track. And then congratulations. At this point, you just joined the growing community of global citizens working towards the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals. And it's a great feeling to know that you've made an impact on at least one person. And then you can evaluate what worked and what didn't work after you complete your project, right? Do you want to continue it? Do you want to fix something? Do you want to, do a new project on a different goal? And then if you want, you can also write a blog post for MUN Impact, and, we'll promote your accomplishment and promote your project and congratulate you as well. And then you can pick another SDG and repeat the process. So, once you do one action for an SDG, you realize how easy and how fun it is. And you just keep going with the cycle until we reach 2030 and have solved all of these issues. So this is a quick student pledge. I hope that after this presentation and after this conference, you all have a better understanding of, global issues and how important it is to have quality education for all. So I hope that you'll all take this pledge to take action. It could be something small in your daily life or your school, or something larger, whatever you have access to. But I hope that everyone will take at least one action for SDG 4. So that concludes our presentation, actually. Here we have contact information for some of the presenters, and we really would love if you guys reached out if you have any questions. You can contact myself, Belle if you're interested in online Model UN, or Snata if you're interested in the 100K Deeds Challenge. And if you have general inquiries, you can send them to info@munimpact.org. And then also, Mohammed, if you want to discuss the QR code on the side.
So please do, if you're interested in knowing more about MUN Impact, that is a QR code to our link tree, where you're going to have access to many of our programs and websites, and probably also our magazine. If you would like, if you've had a big accomplishment on the SDGs and you want them published on our community magazine, we're really looking forward to guest articles. So please do please do look into our magazine for more info on those.
And then over here, we have some upcoming events and activities. So again, feel free to take a screenshot of the slide and please do join us. So tomorrow at 1400 UTC, we're having an open forum discussion on SDG 12, which is responsible production and consumption. And the goal of this open forum is just for people to come and share your thoughts and ideas in a casual setting. So it's not like a competitive debate. It's more just an opportunity to share your experiences and your personal opinions on responsible consumption and production. And this is in partnership with Voice, which is a sustainability organization that's going to be working with us.
And I'll talk a little bit about our upcoming debate, which is a Human Rights Council debate. It will be on rights for journalists, and it's on SDG 16.10. That will be on the February the 13th, 13 UTC. That's a Saturday, and we'll be having more debates. So you can find all of that at onlinemodelunitednations.org.
And then if anything, sparked your interest from this presentation or about MUN Impact, on February 21st at 1500 UTC, we're going to be having a global information session discussing all of our different programs and how you can get involved. So please, again, join us for that.
And lastly, for the
And for the 100K Deeds Challenge, we are conducting open house on various dates and timings. Our first open house will be on the 13th of February. We have tried to personalize these open houses according to the regions and according to the time zones. So it's basically a webinar where we'll be giving you more information about the challenge and how you can participate it and how you can make a change in your community. And after the orientation, we shall be entertaining a Q&A session where you can get more involved with us and we can discuss further details. So check out our Instagram page or our website for more information.
And feel free to take a picture or screenshot of this slide for your reference in the future.
So that concludes this presentation. Again, we're so honored to be partnering with TogetherMUN and to be here today to talk about SDG 4 and MUN Impact. Once again, please do reach out if you have any questions. And yeah, thank you for having us, to the entire TogetherMUN staff and secretariat.
Thank you so much, Zoe, and thank you so much for this presentation. Now here we are finishing the conference, and I just want to, before the awards, we have a few delegates here, and I want to say to you all, thank you. Thank you for being a part of TogetherMUN, and thank you for our amazing chairs, Alan, Emily, Anna, Gregory. These are, oh no, we have Jonas, we have Deepika, we have Emilia, and those are the chairs. I want to thank our secretariat members that are here, which are Sarah and Chantel and Samuel, and thank you very much to everyone that have been involved, whether you are a delegate, and yeah, and whether you are a chair or a secretariat member, you were all amazing. But now it's the time that we've all been waiting for. Awards! Yeah, I know. Yeah, we all love the awards. We have all waited for the awards, but who gets which award? So let me just tell you how this is going to go. The awards will be presented like this. First of all, each committee will going in their turn. So first of all, it will be UNODC, then US Senate, and finally the international press. Afterwards, the every committee will present their awards just like this. First of all, the best position paper award. If you have submitted a position paper and you have been nominated for best position paper award, so congrats. Afterwards, two honorable mentions for delegate. Then one special delegate award, and finally the almighty best delegate. So let's start with the ODC. Alan, Anna, and Emily. The floor is yours.
Oh yeah, so I'm presenting the Best Position Paper Award and the honorable mention, or one of the honorable mention awards. So the Best Position Paper goes to the delegate of Australia. All of us are really impressed while reading your position paper, so congratulations to you. And one of the honorable mentions goes to the delegate of Belgium. Congratulations to you as well.
So I'll be presenting the next honorable mention and our outstanding delegate. So the final honorable mention goes to the delegate of India. They were really active during the committee and they really helped us bring the resolution together, and good job. And then our outstanding delegate goes to the delegate of Albania. She made some amazing speeches and her solutions were amazing, and you really contributed well to the committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for presenting them before me. I would like to make a couple of words before I get to the Best Delegate Award. So I'd like to express my utmost gratitude to everyone who has made this conference possible, especially the UNODC delegates and fellow staff members. It has truly been a wonderful experience, and I can't wait to see you at future conferences. The committee actually took a quite unique turn, and I believe was incredibly fun for everyone. So again, thank you so much for providing us with that experience. With that being said, I'll now go over to the Best Delegate Award. I believe everyone is eager to hear it. The Best Delegate Award in this committee is someone who was able to lead the committee in a proper way in a discussion for it to be fruitful, and somehow managed to gather everyone's trust and confidence while also being incredibly fun and turning the gossip box practically around themselves, which is amazing. So without further ado, the Best Delegate Award goes to the delegate of Slovakia. Congrats.
Congratulations. Thank you, the chairs of the UNODC committee. Now we will move to the US Senate committee. To present the awards for US Senate, we welcome Jonas, and where's Deepika? Deepika is missing. Okay, so just Jonas.
All right. Thank you very much, Jair. First and foremost, again, just like Alan said, my deepest gratitude to everyone who has joined this conference, to all the staff. When Maulik asked me to become chair of the US Senate, I was, of course, extremely happy to do so. Such an interesting committee, and that's how it turned out as well. Thank you to all the senators who made it super fun for me to be chairing you all. It was exciting, and I'm pretty sure I can safely say for all of the senators that we wish we have had more time to debate on the conviction of Bill Clinton. And I'm pretty sure I can say the same for my two other staff members of the committee who are not here, unfortunately, in this meeting due to maybe other reasons. So I think safe to say thank you, and also thanks from them, Deepika and my co-chair. And with no further ado, first then I'll just announce all the awards, I guess, since I'm the only one here. We would like to give honorable mentions to Senator John McCain and Senator Mike Enzi. Senator John McCain did an amazing job in trying to make valuable input at every turn, as well as Senator Mike Enzi, and straighten the structure of the debate the whole time. For the best position paper, we would like to honor the Senator Jesse Helms. What was the most crucial part, the crucial difference between Senator Helms' position paper and the others is that he also tried to input the position of the senator himself in the topic, rather than focusing on only the general issue at hand. For, of course, the uh, two awards, the two most awaited awards. For the outstanding delegate, we would like to award Senator Tom Dashley, who was the minority leader, who was the leader of the Democratic Party. He did a great job. He only received his allocation this morning, and he did a fantastic job in coordinating his party. I really appreciate your work. I appreciate you taking over that position. It was honorable, and you did a fantastic job at it. And last but definitely not the very least, for the Best Delegate Award, I would like to honor the delegate who was the focal point of our crisis and who did well in determining the fate of Bill Clinton and the crisis events. And that would be Senator Orrin Hatch. Congratulations for your great work. You played along very well to all the crises that were given to you by the crisis director, no matter how difficult it might have been for you to be participating in the committee with everyone else cornering you at the same time. So that is all from me. Thank you again very much, Jair, Maulik, the rest of the staff, and thank you to my co-chairs, and again to all the senators for a fantastic conference. And I wish I would be there for the next edition of Together MUN again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let me tell you, I think Fatal Gore should get an award. And now, finally, to the international press. They were here, the reporters covering anything, all the stories, all matters. Had interviews, press conferences. They always thought about questions and maybe answers. Gregory, the stage is yours.
Hello again. If this is your first time seeing me, I'm Gregory Middleton. I was a crisis staffer last Together MUN, and today, this conference, I've been the editor-in-chief of the International Press. Despite some setbacks at the very beginning of the conference, as well as this being my very first experience at an international press committee, let alone chairing one, the conference went extremely well. And I was simply blown away. Me and Amelia, the deputy editor-in-chief, was simply blown away by the quality of the deliverables and the really solid work ethic of the delegates. They all made our job extremely difficult in choosing awards. But that being said, we'll start by naming the delegate who received not only the best position paper, but also one of our honorable mentions. And that was the delegate of CNN. Their position paper was incredibly well written, and their honorable mention is because all of their directives were incredibly authentic, very report-like, very honest journalism. And together with the other honorable mention, who is the delegate from Xinhua, we deliberated that it was very authentic journalism, that they always stayed true to the overall message and biases of their publications. That leads me to our outstanding delegate, who was the delegate from Europa Press. We thought they deserved this award largely because they were so proactive with interviews and their deliverables in a wide range of quotes from everyone across the committees that they sat in with. So very well done there. That, of course, leads me finally to the best delegate, who we decided to give to the UK's very own BBC. We decided to award that because their use of quotes was extremely broad across across their reporting, but also because it was extremely characteristic. Me as a national of the UK, I could definitely imagine every single one of those deliverables being read out loud on The World at One on BBC4. So very well done there. And well done to all the delegates, not just the ones who won awards. You all did fabulously. It was a fantastic committee.
Thank you very much, Gregory. I just wanted to thank, before I'm finishing all, one more person, Joan, our USG of media design. Joan, you were here designing our posts every day, and I wanted to simply thank you for your job and thank you for giving out time to TogetherMUN. I thank you from my dear heart because I don't have the skills and the graphical design skills like you do. Every post that you do is magical, and it feels like it went out of a really good company that has designers that work for them, and you were explaining and you were just presenting to us how good you are and how grateful we are having you to have you in this conference with us.
Thank you so much.
So I'm so happy that TogetherMUN 3 has come to an end. But there is a crisis update, you guys. TogetherMUN 4 will be on. You guys, drum roll. February 27th. Save the date. So it will open registration in the next few hours. We have 2 committees at our next edition, UN Women and a historical security council, historical crisis committee. And I hope to see you around.